So this video has been a long time coming. It's like fate itself conspired to keep me from making this video. Basically, something happened with my version of Windows. My version of Windows got corrupted, so I had to re-download the shit and re-download a whole bunch of stuff. Then, while like 85% of my data is on other drives on my PC, not my main drive, it turns out that they were slightly corrupted, so I had to re-download a lot of files. Now, this is the GOG version of Fallout New Vegas, so if you're going to, my first little tip for anyone wanting to play this game, get the GOG, the Good Old Games version of Fallout New Vegas. The Steam version is okay, but the Steam version isn't really optimized to run on the newest hardware. The one on Steam is good enough for the basic version, but if you have a really powerful, if you have a really high-end PC or mid-high-end PC, you're going to run into problems. Plus, it's harder to mod the Steam version of Fallout New Vegas. The GOG version is just perfect for that. So, basically, I had to go back and get my mod list, because there's certain mods that make this game easier to play. Because it's an old game. It's over a decade old, so... but now that I got that out the way, a little bit more information before we get into the re-review of Fallout New Vegas. Looking at my previous two reviews, this is a new series, the re-review of a previous game. I really don't want to use the same format for the re-reviews, so for the re-reviews, I'll be going over the flaws of the game, then the good things about the game, then going into a little bit of the history and does the game hold up? Is it, as good as I remember? So let's get into the flaws after the cut of Fallout New Vegas. So, while I really enjoy Fallout New Vegas, it is subjectively my favorite Fallout game, and I, in my opinion, it's the best modern Fallout game, the one that's in 3D and all that type of stuff. But that doesn't mean it's without issues or flaws. So the first one is the technical issues. This game is made using Bethesda's Gamebryo engine, which itself is merely a highly modified version of NetImmerse. Now, NetImmerse is an old-ass engine that primarily, its big thing is, NetImmerse's big thing is that it's designed primarily to make it easy. Like, NetImmerse was created to create MMOs. It was designed to create an engine that would not stress the servers of an MMO or the host of an MMO, the host server, by basically overburdening the technical the technical abilities of the server, generating lots of NPCs and player characters. Which means that on a technical level, NetImmerse should have been perfect for Gamebryo's engine. Just one small NetImmerse should have been the perfect engine for Bethesda to customize to make into a engine for their video games. The problem is that Bethesda, they aren't very good coders. The coding in Bethesda games is they get it to where it's just good enough to barely run. It's like that relative you might have who has that raggedy ass car where they're the only one who can drive it because they can get it to go just enough to where they can kind of get it to go down the road and back, but no one else can drive that piece of shit. That's Gamebryo and the Creation Engine. The Creation Engine is a derivative of Gamebryo. All right, and I would be surprised that Bethesda created a new engine for Starfield. I personally think they basically just took the creation engine and just polished it up some more. What they really need to do is do a code overhaul of the entire system from the ground up. But that would take, like, seriously, they'd have to spend millions of dollars, and it would be 3 years of Bethesda just, like, not doing anything with the engine, or having to retrain their developers on how to use the new engine. And, you know, Bethesda's, you know, they're lazy. They're basically like, this is good enough. So you might ask yourself, well, what does it have to do with Obsidian? They're the ones who made Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is made in the Gamebryo engine, which was that software engine was created by Bethesda. It's a derivative of the NetImmerse engine, which they licensed. So let's just get that out the way. So that is a major issue with this game. This game does not run well on modern PCs. In order to get it to run, for one thing, it has a 2 gigabyte RAM. Yeah, it has the 2 gigabyte RAM memory issue, a 2 gigabyte memory issue. So basically, you know, if you run mods for this game that utilize more RAM than it's supposed to deal with, the game crashes. It can't take it and it gives up. So in order for you to play this game on modern systems, you're probably going to have to patch it to be at least 4 gigabytes, so that it's at least utilizing a little bit more memory. The engine is notoriously unstable. The Gamebryo engine. And I know what some people are going to say. Well, that just means Obsidian wasn't good enough to make this game with that engine. Here's the thing. Elder Scrolls Oblivion was made in the Gamebryo engine. So was Fallout 3. And those games were not quite as buggy as this game, but still up there in the bug department. And here's another thing. Bethesda had like 5-6 years to make Oblivion. They had about 5 years to make Fallout 3. Obsidian made this game in 18 months. Okay? It's amazing what they were able to do in 18 months. But that doesn't excuse the fact that this game is notoriously buggy. It's very hard to play on modern systems. I don't even think you can play it on modern video game consoles. I don't think there's a backwards compatibility function. If you want to play this game on a modern, quote-unquote modern system, you're probably going to have to play it on the PS3 or the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One through backwards compatibility, and I don't know if that's going to run very well. I am playing this on PC because that's pretty much the best way to really enjoy Fallout New Vegas. So with that being said, the other flaws of this game. There is a decent amount of cut content with this title that can be restored through mods. At the end of this video, I will have my mod list, the mods that I used to play this game at the very end, basically to let people know what's been going on, you know. So with that being said, you might ask yourself, what other issues are with this game? The gunplay is not very good, but I mean, it's a Western RPG. If you're playing a Western RPG for gunplay, you've come to the wrong place. It's like going to complaining about the gunplay in a Western RPG that has guns is like going to a fish restaurant and saying complaining about the beef. It's like, that's not really what we're here for. The beef is not. This is a fish restaurant. We serve fish. So that is another flaw with this game. Is just the gunplay isn't very good, which is why you're going to be using a lot of VATs. But that was an issue with Fallout 3. like I'm going to be using VATs all the time. for fine aiming. The only time it's acceptable to not use VAT is if you create a melee build where you just run up to someone and slice and dice them, or you know, beat the shit out of them with your fists or a blunt weapon, or you're using a shotgun, because then you don't have to aim. It's in the general direction that the guy's in. I'm gonna kill him. But if you want to do like specific damage to different enemies' body parts, VATS is still great for that. Shoot a dude in the leg so he can't run after you. Shoot an enemy in the head. It's an instant kill if they're humanoid. If you crit and, you know, blow up their head, because they ain't doing shit after that. Those are flaws with the title. So, aside from that, that's about it. Those are the only real flaws with this system, with this game. Is just it's you know, it's not very well optimized for modern systems. You know, Bethesda has never gone back and optimized this game for a new generation. Now, on the modding scene, there are people who are remaking Fallout New Vegas in the Fallout 4 engine, which I'm looking forward to. Because, like I said, this is my favorite game, and I want to see it in a modern context. But those are modders doing that, not Bethesda proper. So, with that being said, let's get to the good things about Fallout New Vegas after the cut. So, before we talked about the flaws of this game, and I think, you know, we went almost 10 minutes talking about how the game has issues and, you know, the technical issues and all of that. But now we're going to talk about the good things about this game, the strengths. The writing in this game is excellent. The character development is excellent. There is no side character in this game who is annoying. You know how in Fallout 4, Preston, like everyone hates Preston Garvey? That doesn't exist here. Every character in this game has a story arc and some really cool stuff that they can do. And because this game is designed in master level RPG format, the game is basically built around the concept of branching story paths and unorthodox ways to figure out an issue. Like if you play Fallout 3 or 4, there's like 3 ways to open a door. You can, like the first way to open a door is you can lockpick the door. You can hack a computer program to get in the door. Or you can sneak around the back way and sneak around the back, sneak in an alternate way and open the door from the inside. And those are basically your choices on how to get into a door in Fallout 3 and 4. Now, Fallout New Vegas has like 6 ways to get into a locked door, okay? The first way is you can lockpick the door. The second way, you can hack a computer to unlock the door if it's an electronic door. The third way, you can talk to someone who has a key and convince them either through a speech skill check like intimidation or charisma to open the door, or do a little side quest for them, like, hey, I think my wife is fucking around. If you could catch her ass in the act, I'll give you the key. You can break it. You can go. You can get inside of here. Okay? Or you could follow that guy, and if you have the requisite sneak and lockpick sneak skill, you can pickpocket the guy, take the key off of his person, and unlock the door. Or you can kill him and get the key and unlock the door. It's way more engaging to have 5 different ways to figure out a problem than just 2 or 3. And that is the strength of this game. There are multiple ways to solve problems. There are multiple ways. And with mods, you can even add solutions that weren't there, that should have been there due to an oversight or time constraints. So this game, in terms of story, and gameplay design in terms of like gameplay mechanics, stuff like that, is great. Now, it doesn't have the scaling difficulty of Fallout 3, but personally, I like that it doesn't have scaling difficulty. There's certain areas where you can go, you gonna get your ass kicked because you shouldn't have your ass there in the first place. And that's great. You know, like for example, the way this game is set up is that you're supposed to go in one big counterclockwise circle to get to New Vegas. You can see New Vegas, but if you go north from Good Springs to New Vegas that way, you'll run into a quarry with a whole bunch of death claws. And I don't mean normal death claws. I mean an alpha male, an alpha patriarch and matriarch death claw with a whole bunch of babies. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Death claws in New Vegas ain't no joke. You know that bullshit from Fallout 4 where you kill a death claw in the beginning of the game with a chain gun? Yeah. Death claw, like in this game, at this point in the very beginning of the game, nothing you have in your inventory, nothing is going to be good enough to take on a death claw. Nothing. And even if by chance you find a really good weapon, you bump up your luck stat and you find a really good weapon, or you get like a grenade rifle, because death claws have a weakness against explosive weapons. Even explosive weapons are not really, like, even your skills are not going to be high enough to really make those weapons really effective. So basically, yeah, I mean, if you're really good and you know what you're doing, you might be able to get past the death claws. But you'll run into death wings. Now, you might ask, what the hell is a death wing? A death wing, sorry, not a death wing, a cazador. A cazador are these giant mutated wasps, which basically, if they sting you, it saps your stamina and makes you pass out, and it's an instant kill. If you don't have access to anti-venom. And here's the thing, in the beginning of the game, no one's carrying anti-venom. And cazadors are fast and very hard to hit. Like, you have to use VATs to really take them out. And if you're a low-level character, good luck with that shit. So basically what I'm saying is this. This game, not easy. Because of the lack of scaling difficulty. There's a certain way that you can go, however, where the difficulty curve is a lot more gentle. And that way basically encourages you to explore, talk to a lot of people, do lots of side quests, get characters in your party. By the time you get to New Vegas, you should have a full party of characters. You should have the sniper, the Brotherhood of Steel chick, a ghoul named Raul, Tejado, a super mutant grandma who's going off on Alzheimer's, a super mutant nightkin, and a cool iRobot, and one of my personal favorite characters, a Robo-Dog. So, I mean, it's like the game, all of these characters have a story arc, all of them have some interesting stories. Oh, and I also forgot Eddie Gannon, the Brotherhood of Steel Doctor. Sorry, not Brotherhood of Steel, the former follower of Apocalypse Doctor. And all these characters have their own things going on here. You know, the sniper really hates the Legion. The follower of Apocalypse, Eddie, really hates the Legion. Victoria doesn't really kind of give a shit about the NCR, doesn't really like the Legion, but is very much pro Brotherhood of Steel because she is a member. So the big thing about this game is just it's very well designed. It has great writing, great characters. It doesn't reuse a lot of the same fucking music you had in Fallout 3 and that they reused in Fallout 4. So in that regard, the game is much better. Much better. If I had to say, well, no, that's it. There's no real downsides. The factions are interesting. It's not really a shade of gray thing. There's a clearly evil faction. There's a clearly mid-tier faction, and then there's a clearly good faction. However, each faction isn't like, oh my god, like, there aren't shades within that faction. Like some people in NCR are utterly repugnant. Some people in Caesar's Legion aren't that bad. But overall, the overall factions are, like Caesar's Legion are clearly bad guys. The NCR are clearly good guys. Mr. House is a pragmatist who is cold-blooded. I mean, there's a point in this game where you go to House's former New Vegas headquarters before he went to New Vegas and locked himself in a machine so that he could stay alive for a long time. And you basically come to the conclusion that House was a fucking maniac, was a sociopath before he ever, he was a sociopath before the war. Sociopathic murderer before the war. And he's not someone you should really bargain with in good faith. Because he's a utilitarian pragmatist who believe, like, there's no lines he will cross in order to make sure he maintains his bottom line. And that is terrifying. But he's still quite not as bad as Caesar's Legion, because there's certain shit he just doesn't, he doesn't care, he doesn't want to restrict people's personal freedoms, he just doesn't want them to cross him or his property, which he views as New Vegas. It's kind of fucked up, but whatever. So basically, Fallout New Vegas, it's pretty goddamn good. It still holds up. The various aspects of the game, the gameplay, the writing, the characters, the music, the atmosphere. Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 are parodies of 1950s Americana with a future punk vibe. This game is a Western. The first Fallout game was a post-apocalyptic wasteland adventure. That's what it was. The second Fallout game was basically about what happens after a major nuclear disaster, where by all rights, all civilization should end. But it doesn't. People, like, certain groups have devolved, but other groups are trying to rebuild. The NCR is trying to rebuild civilization. What is the vision of the new civilization? How should things go? And that's a really profound point of view. This game basically says, okay, well, what happens where you essentially have, another war between different forces, and how far are people willing to go in order to win? And you have Mr. House. You have, like, Mr. House, who wants freedom for New Vegas. He wants the NCR and the Legion to leave New Vegas and Nevada alone. And he's willing to do whatever it takes in order to get that. Wiping out people who really didn't do anything to him, who might become a threat. He'll do it. The NCR wants New Vegas, and they want Caesar's Legion out. And they want to bring House to heel. Or eliminate. They either want him brought to heel or eliminated. Okay? Then you've got Caesar's Legion, who wants New Vegas and they want the NCR out of Nevada. They want to expand their borders. So you have these three distinctly different factions going at it. And all of them pretty much have a valid reason for doing what they're doing, in their eyes. And their methodologies might be slightly different, but they all have their own impetus to do such things. So with that being said, I guess we have to get to my overall thoughts after the cut. So here we go with my overall thoughts and conclusion about Fallout New Vegas. My overall thoughts is this: the question that we ask in the review series when we re-review a game is, does it hold up? Is it worth the original's stance that I took in the original review? And I'm gonna say yes. You know, in light of where Bethesda has taken the Fallout franchise, in light of where, you know, Fallout 76 took the series, Fallout 4 took the series, I think it's safe to say that this is the best modern Fallout game. It's better, like, when I say the best, I don't mean in terms of the engine or the technical prowess, but in terms of storytelling, gameplay systems, a lot of the RPG design. It's the best. You know, Bethesda wishes they could make a game as well designed as Fallout New Vegas, in terms of the gameplay systems, in terms of the characters, but they can't. They don't have the talent for it. Bethesda builds worlds and then fills it with a whole bunch of bullshit to make it seem like there's something going on. Okay? Whereas Obsidian creates a living, breathing ecosystem where there's factions interacting with one another. There's shit going on. And I love that. I love that aspect to the game. So, you know, Fallout New Vegas is still that good. It's still that good. It still is that well designed. You know, like, for people who want to get into making Western style RPGs, I would say anything from Troika, Obsidian, maybe early BioWare. You're going to get a lesson on how to have multiple branching choices, well-designed characters, that type of thing. This is who you want to follow. This is what you want to do. So, with that being said, let's get to the conclusion. So, the conclusion is this. This game is really good. It's worth playing. I have a mod list in the description section of this video where I'm going to tell you how to essentially get your hands on what I'm using to make this game run as stably as humanly possible. But with enough new additions to make it interesting. I am using a cheat, a portable cheat engine Deluxe mod, because I have put 100 hours into this game on Steam and like 300 hours on the PS3 version. I have played a lot of Fallout New Vegas, and at this point I have to play it with cheats in order to do interesting things and go where I want to go and do what I want to do. So that's my thing, but you know, you don't have to follow me. If you want to play the game, you know, the way that, you know, a la natural, you can. I like to cheat a little bit, but yeah, this game holds up. It's still that good. So that being said, that's the end of the video. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. We have a podcast every Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day and enjoy.